Google, what time is it? Oh, you know what? I think I gotta hold it. Hey Google, what time is it?
It's 5:57 p.m. Sure, 10 seconds. Starting now.
Hey Google, can you actually count down 10 seconds?
All right, changed it to 10 seconds.
All right, all right. Good evening, everybody. You are checking out Philly Funk Radio and Philly Funk TV, phillyfunkradio.com. And this is our daily update. We didn't do one yesterday. Well, because this is where yesterday I decided to actually clean the entire studio. I disassembled all the equipment, scrubbed everything down, and just cleaned up and cleaned up and cleaned up. So that's why I wasn't on yesterday, but everything's hooked back up, and I'm here with you live. And on the phone, we have, well, on the line, on the video, practicing social distancing, Mr. Van Stone. Van, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. Welcome, Philadelphia. Van Stone, WVSR 1360. And the time is now 6:01. Boy, I tell you, this week has been a rough week. So it's just so many personal things going on. And of course, most of the major news that really affect or impact Black Americans, most of you already know. But the interesting news is that this news is also impacting white Americans too. So what we're trying to do is get rid of the nonsense and get everyone who's really angry up in arms about what's happening, the negative against the black Americans in such a terrible way that we want the white Americans to be just as angry, and that we work all together to deal with what's going on. So, let's get into it. I don't see you doing any visual this evening, Jerry.
Yeah, I have a video. I have a music video that I'll be playing later on. It's funny that you open the show and you speak about, I guess the frustration and anger that's going on, because actually I was not going to be on tonight. I was actually going to be down at City Hall earlier today, around 2 hours ago. The business owners, some business owners actually had a rally down at City Hall to reopen the businesses. They're trying to get Governor Wolf. As you know, our governor down here, well, you may or may not know if you're outside of Pennsylvania or overseas, our governor is Tom Wolf. And yesterday he extended out our the stay-at-home order for certain counties, including Philadelphia. And he extended it out until June the 4th. So prior to that, this group of business owners actually decided to take to the street and protest the closures because they're saying that it's damaging their businesses. And even some small businesses have already filed for bankruptcy because of the closures and them not bringing in any revenue. They've had to actually basically close their businesses permanently. So I want to start off by getting, I want to get Van's opinion about that. And, what do you think about that? The rally, and what do you think about their point of view about their businesses suffering and them having to file Chapter 11 and them closing?
Okay, well, let's get the facts out. If we look at the facts, the most important thing is we're in a pandemic, as we know, which threatens the lives of everyone. So there is no group who can just go somewhere else and get away from the situation and then, come back later, like in the fictional movies. Also, sometimes in the non-fiction movies, people can do that as well, where you have what's called the shadow government. There was a time where there is this whole network operation, city, isolated beneath the ground. And this is real. This is not make-believe, where just in case something happens, those who are valuable to this country, so to speak, not the regular citizens, the ordinary people like us, they can go down beneath the ground and survive for years, just in case something terrible happens to the country. This virus is so deadly and so unique that, well, we wasn't really prepared for something like this. So no one can get away. So in that case, I'm just giving you the facts based on what you're saying, to give my opinion on the matter, is that it's not really a situation where people who are in business, could take the negative view that it's the government's fault for shutting down the business. So to go out and protest and say, open the business, let us do this and let us do that. Even if the governor wanted to just let everybody do that, again, leaving the businesses, going back home, traveling all over elsewhere, most likely you would still cause someone else to get sick, and then that sickness would carry on, and then other people, more people would die. So to go out and protest, it's just, people are just so comfortable with the death of someone else. And this is what I said before. If it's not them, if it's not somebody personally, that they love, that they feel real close to, they're just so used to having, the value of life really doesn't mean anything. That's a word, value doesn't mean anything. So in that case, the Philadelphia is so large. It's a state in itself, even though it hasn't been, declared a state. But what the governor has done, the governor of Pennsylvania, he's actually separated the entire state of Pennsylvania, where you have two parts. So you have what's considered the yellow part and what's considered the red part. All of the cities in the yellow part, they are really able to do somewhat reopening. That means businesses and other things. Still, have to be careful, wear your mask, which is what everybody's supposed to do. Those of us over here, southeastern Pennsylvania, we're still in the red. The death rate is still high. People are still dying constantly, and because there's really no answer to it, even social distancing and physical distancing is really not enough to really save lives the way we need lives to be saved. So therefore, we should be able to stay at home. We should be following the stay at home. That's my long version of answering your question.
So my question to you would be right now. So, how long would you suggest that they have to stay at home? Would that be until there's a vaccine, until there's a cure? Like, at what point do we say we actually do have to reopen everything, or do you think we should just stay the way that we are?
Okay, so that's an excellent question. And if everyone really want to get serious with this and want the real answer, according to the scientists, first of all, it's going to take them about a year, they hope, to find the cure. Right now, if you get tested, you can get tested. Testing is going on right now in Philadelphia. But in a way, I'm not going to say pointless, but it's so short of what we need, because the test that's available now, the test is not accurate enough for everybody or everyone. So some people, the test will work. Others, it won't. And in that case, then, you still don't know who's really sick or who's infected. In that case, then, it's just going to keep going round and round and round until we get the proper medical procedures. That's another thing. They have to have a simple medical procedure. I was trying to explain this to people before. Back in the day, the biggest thing was penicillin. Penicillin was the answer to so many different issues and that, we face as people, regardless of race. And it just helped eliminate so many things right away. You could take it in tablet or liquid form, or it could even be injected. So, if you got an ear infection where you just got to the point, you have what's called swimmer's ear. What that is that it actually don't have anything to do with swimming, but they just took it and gave a title because of water. So if you get water in your ear, some people, it's just not their fault. The water will not eliminate the body. It will build up, regardless if you turn your head to the left, to the right, whatever. If you tap on your ear to try to get the water out, the water will not come out. And what will happen is an infection will eventually build up because of the wax and mildew and other things that's actually inside. So penicillin, because of penicillin, they give you penicillin, and it will break all that up and actually force it to come out. And in that case, you will be able to hear normally like everybody else. So that's what you want, because you don't want people walking around where they can't hear. If they can't hear, then other terrible things can start to happen, because you'll have everyone who can't hear. So it's like we really got to stop being so selfish about this situation. And this whole attitude of just being a complainer or murmur, which is the complainer, the non-violent complainer. You just complain just because, and you think that's exciting, but it's not. We have to really look at this thing seriously. So to answer your question, I said all that I always try to give some type of example where people who are listening or viewing, it makes sense to them. Because when you talk to somebody, what the government's supposed to be doing is explaining to everybody what's happening. Put it in terms that even the simplest person who doesn't feel like, get into a whole bunch of detail, they got it. So swimmer's ear. Everybody got that. That's real simple. You love to go swimming? Okay, I can go swimming again. At one point when there wasn't any penicillin, people couldn't go swimming because you didn't know, we didn't know, who knows if you have swimmer's ear or not. It's just something that you really don't have the answers to until these things happen. Then you notice you can't hear. With this virus, because it is, you can't see it. You cannot see it. And the virus will jump from an animal to a human. Jump in the sense not that it's something that is, it has intelligence, but because of the air will just take it. So it's airborne, even though it's not really 100% airborne category. But if you make it that simple, again, then you'll go, oh, okay, now I understand how I can get the virus. In that case, because you can't control the weather, you have a windy day, you have a stormy day, you have just a regular light shower day. I always give the weather. That's why I say today was beautiful, it was warm. Tomorrow, it could be windy, cloudy, whatever. It's so important to even know what the weather's going to be like. How are you going to prepare when you go outside or go about your day if you don't know what the weather is? So if you have an attitude that you just don't need to pay attention to anything, that's a bad thing for you. But not just you. This time, if you have a bad attitude, it's bad for everybody.
Okay.
How long, let me ask you a question. So how long should it be? It should be at least for another year where things really should not open, where we should just stay in a situation where we're in a stay-at-home situation where certain businesses are relaxed to be open and others just stay closed permanently. So to those people, again, who are saying, well, this is affecting my business, the truth is that it's not. It's really not. There are so many businesses that people go into, you'd be surprised. From selling berries, just making gardens, making your own garden. Now, in the urban community, it's very difficult to do because we have all of this beautiful, streets and everything, and we don't have the dirt roads and stuff like that. But you still can do gardening. You can still produce different things. So that's the answer as far as the way I see it. When it comes to the businesses, they should stay closed.
Okay. Well, let's take a small break real quick because I did want to ask you a follow-up to that. We're going to take a small break, and we will be right back after this.
The world is talking about coronavirus. But it's hard to know what to listen to. We have answers to your questions like who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65. People with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes. People undergoing cancer treatment. And people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people. Avoid crowds. Stay home if you can.
I'm going back on.
Wash your hands frequently. Learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov. Together, we can help stop the spread.
All right, we are back live and local. Right here, it's myself and Mr. Van Stone on the line. I'm trying to switch back over to him right now. Okay. All right, Van, we're back. So I did want to ask you a kind of a follow-up question, and we're actually going to wrap up because I do have a music video to play. But going back to something that you said, what businesses do you think should remain closed? What types of businesses? And the reason I'm asking this is if you are that owner, of course, you're not going to want to shutter your business and basically, in essence, fire people. Like, nobody wants to permanently close their businesses. So that's my question. What businesses do you think should remain closed?
Okay, any business that really goes against the distance, the social distance, like when you go into the market or you go other places right now, they have the 6 feet distance. It really is 12 feet. It's not 6, but everybody's going, for convenience sake, the 6 feet. Any business that cannot realistically fit in with that should remain closed. So you don't have to itemize any particular business. Just think of all type of business, whatever type of business. If you have to get closer within 6 feet, that business should stay closed. So it's just as simple as, think about the people who go swimming all the time. I don't know if you're a swimmer, Jerry, but there's a lot of people who don't know how to swim. So what happens? They go to the shallowest part, they get in, stay in 3 feet. Every lifeguard, if that lifeguard is a professional and really cares about doing the job, will remind everyone, regardless, even if you're a skilled swimmer, everyone, you still are reminded, go into the shallow area, stay in that area, and enjoy yourself. When you pass that 3 feet, that's a problem, because you might not be able to save your own life. Most good swimmers are the ones who can save their own life when you go swimming. And then let's go and take it further for those who go onto the beach. And this is so important, because going on the beach is totally different than going into your local swimming pool. But most people, they just don't believe it until they see it. So even if you talk to them and tell them and everything, people just don't listen. So the best thing, you have to take over, and sometimes a control measure, that's when it has to take place. That's where you have lifeguards on the beach where they have to demand, don't go out but to a certain distance when you're on the beach. Because if you go out there, you can get swept away by the current. The current is so powerful it can pull you in. And if you can't swim, even if you can swim, it doesn't matter. You can still die, just like that. So when it comes to businesses, this is real simple. You know, they have to reinvent what they're doing. I've been telling people this is a great time to do what's called civil disobedience. So if you have the rules, and if you have a business, and you have to really connect with a person, you know, less than 6 feet, then what you should do is you should conduct that business anyway. But how do you do it? That's civil disobedience. How do you do it? You do like what you see the others are doing. You have to get the other tools. You got to get your temperature checked. You got to get all your masks. You got to provide your masks if people come in and they just don't have it. You know, you got to do all the extra things, and you got to do it by appointment only. You know, there's still not a reason in the sense that you just can't do business at all. It's still doable. It's still doable. But while you are being disobedient and doing it the right way, in the safe way, that is what works, and that is what makes a change until everything is for the better. Some people then, they don't want that. If I can't just go and open the door and do whatever I want to do, then, you know, I'm not going to do anything. Well, okay, then that's your decision. But you can't danger everyone else because you want to be defiant. Now, I want to say one other thing, because I know it's short. 2 points I want to say. This thing is so serious, it's all over the world. It's in Colombia. I have models, professional models, who are in Colombia. I've never been there, but I can use virtual, talk to them. And most of them, they talk in Spanish. So it's amazing how we can talk to one another because of a translator. Even in Colombia, everyone is shut in. People are under the same situation where you think that the rural area, and they still have all these things going on, what they do, the farming with animals and all the stuff that's natural. The government shut all that down. Even the people who insist on living in the rural, the government now has to risk their lives to go out to those people and try to bring them in. Imagine how hard that is, trying to bring someone from an environment that they don't want to be in because they're so used to living in the rural and everything works for them. You know, like going camping. You imagine a person, a mountain person or whatever. So here's the last suggestion I say, and I've been sharing this in the best way that I can so that people can get the point, open their mind. You have religious people, the Hebrews and the Islams. For years, they walked around with a face mask and head covering. Why? They did it for the same reason, for safety purposes. Then if you want to go non-religious, let's go with the cowboys. The cowboys, they also did the same thing. They constantly had the face covering with them tied around their neck for healthy purposes. So here we are in 2020. What is so hard about just carrying something which is simple as a tool for you to go out? Keep it with you, put it on. When you don't need it, you go and you're fine. You know, the final solution, though, right now to make everybody stay at home is what they're talking about. The federal government, hopefully they will approve it, is just pay everyone to stay home. Pay everyone. That's the problem. People will feel much better if you talk to them on a level where they always think they're getting a bargain. That's just how it is. So, okay. It's just like when you send your kids to school. Some kids get paid to go to school. They do. They get an allowance. They also get paid to complete grades, do their work, and they get paid. So you have the negative people who are going to be against anything you say. Well, you know, you shouldn't have to pay a kid to learn, blah, blah, blah. You know, you have to forget these people because right now we're talking about adults here. And what makes sense to me is that they should pay everyone to stay home. They're talking about $2,000 a month. That's not enough money for the other people who have incomes higher than $135,000 a year. But for all of us people here, we're just the little people. That would be good enough. I'm sorry, what'd you say? Oh, okay. Well, I was just saying, just consider that point. If they made an announcement and said, we're going to pay all of you to stay home. Every American, we're going to give you $2,000 a month to stay home for 1 year. Most of us would say, okay, in that case, fine. So that's what I hope happens, while we work to try to get through this. That's my conclusion.
All right, we are actually going to take another break right here before we go, and we actually have a special for you. I don't know if you can see this, but I actually got little plants in front of me, and I got these yesterday when I was cleaning up. And if you notice, this is why you don't wear green. Look at the plant. This is why I keep telling the staff, don't wear green with the background, because see, it will actually take the entire background out. It'll take the whole green out. So anyway, like I said a couple of days ago, the last time we were on the air, coming up next week, we have the premiere of the APX Playhouse, which is from the husband and wife Atlanta-based group, the APX, and that will be coming on next week after this show right here on Philly Funk Radio and Philly Funk TV. And we're going to give you a little preview of that right now, right here. Hold on. Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to give you a little preview of that right here, right now on Philly Funk Radio.
What up, Funk Bots? Welcome to the APX Playhouse.
With D&E
We're going to be talking music,
and all things D&E.
relationships.
See you guys soon. And
Stay funky.
All right, and remember, that's the APX Playhouse coming up next week right here. We're about to go, so I want to go back and I want to thank Van for being with us this evening. We're actually going to go to a music video from the APX as we close out. But Van, is there anything else you want to say before we go?
Yes, I do. Stay strong as you can. I'm going to be brief. Just take care. Check on everyone you can. Hopefully they will push where we will get paid to stay home. Think positive, and in the meantime, stick with us. Follow us. We're going to do the best we can. Send us a note if you want. Van Stone, any Van Stone Facebook, Jerry Wilson Facebook, Antoinette Facebook. I mean, we'll see more of the team tomorrow. So, take care.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Van. And again, we'll be back hopefully tomorrow right here on Philly Funk Radio and Philly Funk TV. We're about to go right now. So now, as we promised, here's a video from the APX. Last time we played their debut, which was called Right on Time, and this is their, I think, latest, which is called Jupiter. Right here on Philly Funk Radio, Philly Funk TV, broadcasting live. And remember, next week, the APX Playhouse right here. Have a good night, everybody.
What up, Funk Bots? Welcome to the APX Playhouse.
With D&E
We're going to be talking music,
and all things D&E.
relationships.
See you guys soon. And
Stay funky.
funky.